there's some people need cannabis, don't they, of their pains, their back pains or whatever, you know, to survive or get them through each day.
Yeah.
And other drugs out there too.
True. Yeah. Yeah. So like that's what it comes down to again. Like what I was just saying. Like it's what you classify as a drug. Some people classify alcohol as a drug. Some people classify caffeine as a drug. Some people can classify nicotine, tobacco as a drug, if you see what I mean.
Well, I think like...
Some people even say sugar. Sugar is one of the, you know, sugar and apparently, yeah, sugar and I can't remember what the other one is, but sugar is one of the most addictive, is the most addictive thing on planet Earth, isn't it? When you really think about it.
Almost like cocaine, isn't it?
Yeah, probably even worse than cocaine, mate. Think about it worldwide, mate. Everyone's addicted to sugar. Sugar in everything, even your bloody bread and shit. If you see what I mean, it's
when I was a young boy, I used to play with the ants, you know, and I used to give them sugar. Put a drop of water on it, right? They love it. You know what I mean? I don't know what it'd be like if you know, because I didn't have cannabis at that age, you know what I mean? I would have tried it, see if they like cannabis, you know, so like get a bit of cannabis, drop of water on it, and see what ants thought of it, you know. But I know that ants, I mean, actually every living creature apparently loves sugar.
Oh yeah, everything,
I think, you know, I'm not 100% sure, maybe snakes don't, I don't know.
Yeah, some things that won't,
I mean, it'd be interesting actually to Google that, you know what I mean, to find, I'd like to learn that, you know what I mean, to, you know, understand that, whether everything needs sugar.
Yeah.
You know, I know that everything in life needs salt, doesn't it? A bit of salt.
Well, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, I'm...
Oh, you mean like, I see what you mean, like sodium.
Yeah.
I see what you mean, yeah, because obviously
we need
of course we've all got...
We need a little dosage of salt.
Yeah, cool, yeah, we do.
No, we do. So does animals, do you know what I mean?
Oh, no, we do.
Animals actually, some animals, like for instance, goats, they lick the rocks to get it off.
Oh, okay.
The salt.
Yeah.
Or something, you know.
No, we do need salt for sure. It's very important, definitely.
Yeah, you know, like sugar. I don't know if we need that to survive.
Not so much, you know what I mean. Not in the amounts that we consume today. If you see what I mean, everything, you know, like everything contains sugar today. Almost, you know, almost everything, you know.
They put sugar and beans.
Yeah, everything.
Sugar, yeah. I think they do anyway.
Yeah, everything. They just use it to try to make everything else, make a lot of shit taste better by putting sugar in it. You know, it's.
I mean, you see a lot of these products now. You say no artificial colours, no artificial this, sweeteners. Don't you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you got all these things on the back sometimes. You know.
Yeah.
Like all the ingredients in it, for instance. You know. I think you need a degree to understand it all, kind of.
Oh yeah.
You know, like vitamin E13, E17, E18. You know. Think, what's that? You know, you'll have to Google.
You have to Google it.
Yeah. You know. Learn slowly. You know, it's like a... Yeah, I think you'd have to go to sort of university, really, to get a degree in that one, if you see what I mean. To understand food itself. Because it's amazing, really, all the ingredients that can go into something, isn't it? All the different ingredients. And it's whether those ingredients are really good for you or bad for you, isn't it? You know, doing some harm for your body, or doing good.
Well, the reality is, right, mate, I always say to people, anything that has a long shelf life naturally has preservatives in it, you know? And it's either naturally preserved or it's artificially preserved, if you see what I mean. Because there's people that tend to buy things that, like canned items, let's say, for example. Of course, there's some form of preservative, if you see what I mean. Obviously, the can helps to preserve it in itself, if you see what I mean, just being in the airtight can, if you see what I mean, you know. But obviously there's some added preservatives, if you see what I mean, to make, you know, anything that can last for 3 or 4 years inside your shelf, inside your cupboard, has some kind of preservative in it, mate. And obviously once upon a time that used to be salt. Salt was the main, you know, the main preservative. Once upon a time they used to, before people had fridges and all these kind of different things, in order to maintain a lot of their meats and other things that people were consuming, they would have to salt it. Keep it, to preserve it, if you see what I mean, you know, keep it from spoiling so that they could, you know, wouldn't waste, if you see what I mean. So yeah, but there's a lot of artificial preservatives today too as well, you know. And it's funny, someone once said to me long time ago that anytime you look on the back of any food item, and if there's an ingredient on there that you can't read or you can't pronounce, you shouldn't eat it. And it makes complete sense when you really think about it. You know what I mean? One of these names, one of these chemical scientific names for stuff that they've added to it, if you see what I mean, some kind of flavour enhancer or some kind of, you know.
I mean, what's that one? Cochineal or something it's called. I think it's called cochineal. It's like beetle's juice.
Oh, cochineal.
That's it.
Yeah. They used to use that. That was a red dye, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You know.
They used to use beetles. Yeah.
It kind of makes you cringe, doesn't it?
You can't believe it.
Sometimes, you know.
Makes you can't believe it, mate.
And I don't know about these sweets, you know, what they're made of. You know, like jellies, for instance. You know, like, I think like jelly is made of marrowbone or something, you know.
What you mean, the gelatin, yeah?
I'm not sure, you know.
We've got different types of gelatin. You got pork gelatin, you got beef gelatin, and you can actually buy stuff today that's got vegetable gelatin in it as well today, actually. And I don't really know how that works, but I have actually bought a few for my kids recently.
Yeah.
Because I saw them only had they had vegetable gelatin instead of like the beef and the pork, and I thought, oh, that's a bit better. You know what I mean? I'd much rather them, you know, if they are gonna have a treat occasionally, I'd much rather it be something a little bit healthier. If you see what I mean? So I thought, you know, so I got those ones, and they seem to enjoy them just the same. If you see what I mean? So.
I mean, when I was back at school, I can't remember them teaching about these things like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't really.
But this is the thing, they
don't talk about drugs either, really, do they?
Well, I guess they do to a degree, because I remember even growing up secondary school, but more so secondary school. I remember occasionally every now and again you'd have one of these people come to the school on a campaign, one of these anti-drug campaign charity things, if you see what I mean, that will come to the school and have little seminars and talk to the kids, especially the older kids, if you see what I mean, saying, you know, don't do drugs and, you know, these are the effects.
I didn't get any of that, Mike, you know.
But that's, you know, it's, yeah.
I didn't get that because I was sort of different decades to you, you know.
Well, that was, I remember only having one of them. I only ever had one of those things happen at school. That was when I was in my second last year of school. Yeah.
I can remember having a sex education movie actually done for sort of class, and they had a movie going on, but it wasn't very good. You know, I can remember it now. Funny enough, you know, it was putting me back in time. But we didn't have sex education every week or anything. You know, you really need to sort of learn about that. I think before you know, it's no good not knowing about sex when you leave school, because you're going to get yourself into trouble quite quickly, I think, if you see what I mean, if you don't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of what I did in a kind of way, you know, because my mum was always busy at work, whatever, and I didn't really have my mum really much, you know, do you know what I mean, around me. She couldn't be there for me, do you know what I mean? She had to work hard, you know, she was on her own. And I didn't really get educated in school in kind of way, you know, I was in my own world doing art all the time, you know, whatever, and I didn't really I want one of these children that would sort of sit and listen, you know, and kind of daydreaming half the time, if you see what I mean, you know. It's probably why I was sort of when I did leave school, I was sort of didn't realise that, you know, when you had sex with a girl, you'd make her pregnant, basically. You know, girls are a drug too, you know, in a kind of way. You know, well, I suppose men are a drug to a woman, you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vice versa.
Yeah.
You know.
But like you said, sex could be a drug too. You got people that end up becoming quote-unquote sex addicts, where they have to go to bloody rehab and stuff like this for get help.
Yeah.
For having kind of, you know, sex addictions and shit, but they, you know.
I've never known anyone to have sex rehab.
Same. I've never known any. I've never.
There's not sex rehab around, is there?
I don't know. There must be something in the UK. Yeah, there must be some places in the UK.
I'm gonna go to it.
Sex addicts.
I need to go to it.
Yeah, find your bird. Yeah, you go there and find your bird, mate. Yeah, ideal place to go and find a bird, isn't it?
Yeah. I think, to me, sex is one of the biggest drugs, you know, ever. Who doesn't like sex? Yeah. You know, I love it. You know, it's the trouble. I've always loved it. You know, I've always enjoyed it.
Well, I think any, you know what I mean. Every man and every woman loves, you know.
Yeah, but I'm sort of when I was younger, you know, I didn't sort of think about getting married or anything like that. I just thought,
Yeah.
you know, like a dog does in a kind of way, you know, like go out there and just do whatever.
Well, I think when you're young, you are kind of like that. You're kind of like.
Yeah, but I was more like that, you know, because like I said, I didn't have no one guiding me. I really didn't, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my mum loved me, and she did what she could. You know, she gave me a comfortable house, but she didn't really tell me about sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, she didn't sort of like give me lessons or what do you call it? Just sort of like lectures.
Yeah.
On the subject, if you sort of mean. You know, it was just from, you know, I just left school and learned for myself. You know, that's it. I learned for myself the hard way. To be honest with you. I ended up getting a girl pregnant in no time, really. You know, as soon as I left my mum, you know, I thought I'd leave home.
Yeah.
Because I felt a bit uncomfortable about living there anymore. And I wanted to live on my own. You start feeling like that, don't you? You know, so I think I was about 21. And I wanted to get away.
Yeah.
You know, from my situation.
Have your own space.
So you just feel a bit uncomfortable if you stay. I feel.
Right, same. That's like kind of how I felt. That's why I moved out young.
You have to give your mum a break now. Do you know what I mean? She's done enough. Do you know what I mean? Now you've got to get on your own feet. If you sort of mean. You know?
I can completely relate to that because, as you know, I moved out when I was 19. I was out. You know what I mean? I was, you know, saying to my mum, "Sorry, like I got responsibilities now. I got things to handle and do. I got, you know, got to, like you said, stand on my own 2 feet and be independent. You know, it's.
You know, I didn't really have my parents really sort of. I could go out. You know, like I said, I used to go out, alright, like when I was 14 and 15, and I used to go miles.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have anyone. I mean, my mum said come back at 10. Yeah, that's it. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I was late.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. You know, I was kind of like doing what I wanted.
Yeah.
You know, I was kind of free. And it's kind of like some parents would sort of say, stay in, you know, it's you know, not safe out there, you know, because you know, some people are aware that there's other kids out there with drugs.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't think my mum was, you know what I mean? She just wasn't aware. She was young when she had me, do you know what I mean? That's another thing. You know, some mothers they have their children very young. You know, like maybe 15 or 16 years of age, if you sort of mean. You know, they're already a mother, even though they're a child themselves.
Yeah.
If you sort of mean.
Yeah.
You know, where some people have their you know, have children when they're mature enough.
Yeah.
And they're ready, you know, and they plan it all, do it properly, and they've been kind of like guided right, you know, in the right direction, you know, from their parents.
Yeah.
You know, and they've kept their children away from drugs, you know, and tried to get them to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Where, like my situation, I don't feel like I had that. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I took so many drugs, and I was taking petrol in a funny way. You know, I was kind of like, I don't know.
Lacking some guidance.
I felt like the Jungle Book boy in a funny way. You know, like just a wild child in the city. You know, where I could just kind of like do what I want, come out and have my washing done for me every day.
Yeah.
And then go to school and not like that too much.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get home.
Yeah.
And just go around in circles like that.
Yeah. Always have your meals cooked and.
Yeah. I knew that I didn't really enjoy school, like I've said before.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really want to learn the things they were teaching me.
Yeah.
You know, I just wanted to draw, basically, if you sort of mean. And, you know, I just knew that I was unhappy.
Yeah.
If you sort of mean, with being at school.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we all got different circumstances, haven't we? Like with our parents. Are they together today? Are they not? Do you know what I mean? Are they arguing? Are they on drugs? Do they drink? You know, or does one of them drink? You know, there's all kinds of problems in there. I think when you do have children and you do start messing with drugs and you get addicted to them, you've got children. You know, that's when it gets a little bit.
It's a big problem.
Wrong.
It's a big problem.
It gets a bit wrong, isn't it? You know what I mean? You know.
The thing is, right, mate, is that people that do get addicted, like especially like heart. I'm not talking about like green and that, like you know, or but people that like consume too much alcohol, and people that consume, hard drugs and shit. anytime you've got responsibilities and these kind of things, it usually ends up becoming a problem, you know, for a lot of people. You know, they can't. The truth is that a lot of people lack self-control, like we were talking about earlier, and they're not able to dibble and dabble every now and again, if you see what I mean, and just have fun once every 6 months, go out once every 6 months with their boys and might have a drink and do, you know, do whatever they're, you know, whatever they choose to do that night, wherever it may be, and then leave it alone for a year, if you see what I mean. You know, there's not a lot of people. There are some people that can do that, but that's the minority, if you see what I mean. Unfortunately, I think the majority of people that start doing like hardcore drugs and shit, mate, they get like heavily addicted, and you know.
I think it's all a matter really of each individual really actually finding themselves. You know, like I mean, I didn't think I found myself until a few years back, to be honest with you. You know, but some people find themselves early.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think when you find yourself, you know, you have more control on everything. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You become awareness that you're aware of your own spirit and soul.
Yeah.
You know, and that you're actually existing.
Yeah.
And being aware that, you know, these drugs are going to do you harm. That, you know, some people are not aware or understand these things, you know, and they take these things and they don't understand it.
Well, I think sometimes people think in the moment that it's not doing any harm, but sometimes things can have effects later, you know, later on in life, if you see what I mean. Sometimes just because people are doing something now in the moment, it's like alcohol, yeah? Someone might consume far too much alcohol for the next 5 years and not realise that anything's happening. And then come year 6, all of a sudden their body starts to give out. Their liver says, no, can't do this anymore.
Your body starts talking.
The body starts saying, I can't do this anymore, it's impossible. You know what I mean? You've been abusing me for 5 years now. I've been dealing with it for 5 years, and now the liver can no longer take it anymore. The liver's shrunk, if you see what I mean. And now you've got problems, you've got kidney problems. You know, you might have to go on dialysis. You know, it's you know. It's like I said earlier, anything that you abuse too heavily can be a detriment.
You can always see it as well, you know, when people, it's like some people are addicted to beer.
Yeah.
They like drinking beer, you know, and they ended up getting a big belly like that.
Yeah, big old, yeah.
You know,
especially here in the UK, I've noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, like, I think, like, if you do something too much, you're going to see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone's going to see it.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, right, everyone's got vices, you know. Some people can even say, you know, that exercise could be like a drug. Because obviously when you exercise and do these kind of, obviously it's a natural high, if you see what I mean. So
I remember
there's nothing wrong with that. So, but there's some people that they are fitness junkies to the point because they, you know, the adrenaline, you know, they really love that adrenaline rush, and not only that, but it gives you a natural high. It releases those natural endorphins and all those different things that, you know, make you feel good, if you see what I mean. You know, make you feel, you know, happier.
When I was 21, I used to play badminton a bit. Yeah. And then I met this girl, like I've said before, and I had a baby with her. It didn't last too long, 3 years. We ended up separating, you know, and it was hard for me. I nearly took my life, like I told you.
No.
And then I started, you know, becoming a fitness freak. I started doing weight training,
Yeah.
and I really felt so high, honestly, you know, it was, but I was still smoking occasionally, you know, and I did drink back then, you know, and I'd go out the weekends, have a drink, you know, and go out partying, you know, but I was starting to look really good as well, you know, because I was taking it very seriously, you know, like I went to, you know, I was spending quite a lot of money each month, and that was quite a few years back, you know, like I think it's 30 years ago. I was paying £50 a month for this club.
Yeah.
And all the Southampton players were going there.
Oh yeah,
this is how expensive it was. And I was going, you know, sort of in the jacuzzi with Mike Channing.
Okay.
I mean, at that time, do you know what I mean? Because he was I think he scored a goal in the World Cup or something.
Oh wow, okay.
Or, you know, anyway, I just knew that all these Southampton players sort of like in the same
gym and
whatever, you know,
leisure centre.
It was an expensive place that I was going to, do you know what I mean? And I'd become a real fitness freak. I was going there every day. I'd cycle there, do you know what I mean? and played badminton. And then soon after I met my wife, do you know what I mean? I looked quite good, do you know what I mean? And I looked quite muscly, to be honest with you, but I've let myself go a lot since then. I don't, like I said, I went into removals, and because the reason why I went to removals is because it's quite hard work exercise.
Yeah.
Lifting furniture, going up the stairs, and sometimes lifting washing machines, taking them up high flights of steps. It killed me sometimes, honestly. It was, sometimes it was easy. Some people didn't have much stuff or whatever, and they had light weighted furniture. But then I'd remove a wealthy person, and all their stuff was made of concrete. I want to go home.
Yeah.
Sometimes I had a backache, whatever. I was quite strong, because I'd done weight training before, and I've done hog carrying,
Oh, yeah.
a long time ago. And that, I'm quite strong. I'm stronger than I look. Okay. And now, I gave up removals, I think, like 8 years ago, because the guy I work with retired. Like I said, I moved you, didn't I?
Yeah.
That's how I met you. And I was just building it up myself. That's no other reason why I was doing it. I enjoyed doing the job for myself.
Yeah. And also getting paid at the same
Well,
time.
yeah,
So
you get paid.
that helps.
I wasn't paying for any weight training anymore.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. So
I used to pay £50 a month, and now I was getting 50,
yeah,
for doing weight training,
Yeah.
and exercising my body, because I think like the most important thing in life, like I've said a couple of times before, is keeping yourself strong.
Yeah.
And I feel like now I've been, I've done a removal for 7 years. To be honest, I've not done much apart from helping you that marble table one time.
Which almost killed us.
Nightmare.
Almost took us out.
Yeah, real high flights. Just
Three
it's
flights.
A 4-people job.
Yeah, we did it with us two.
When I went round there and you asked me, I thought it was going to be.
Well, I did too. Well, like I said to you, mate, I thought it was going to be a 2-man job. To be honest with you, I didn't know. It's because I didn't know,
Yeah, but I was, I'm getting on now, and I hadn't done a removal for years, when I did that table, I thought I was coming home.
But you know what?
It took me half an hour to
But you know what made it much heavier? The pallet. Because once me and my wife had taken it out of the pallet in the lounge, because obviously once we'd finally got it up there, the next day.
The pallet was good to grip hold of, wasn't it?
No, I know. No, the pallet was obviously to protect it, because obviously it was marble, if you see what I mean. It's a marble tabletop, if you see what I mean. But I did notice afterwards, when we took the marble out, me and my wife had placed it on the table, the marble itself wasn't like, ridiculously heavy like it was when we were, moving.
I'm not lying, we got it up there, didn't we? Yeah.
Somehow.
And we thought, when we got up there, we were both red in the face, whatever. Maybe blue.
Yeah.
Oh, I was blue.
Yeah. Yeah, I was very red.
I'm older than him.
I was very red. I do remember that, huffing and puffing.
And I thought, okay, then I went home, and it took me ages getting home. It's only a 10-minute walk, and it only takes me 10 minutes normally, but it took me half an hour. And then when I just went like that, and then I collapsed on my bed, and I woke up this morning, sort of with my back still aching. It was a killer.
Wow. Yeah.
But that was a really heavy thing. It should have been 4 or 5 people carrying it.
At least 4. At least 4 for sure.
Anyway, we did it. We achieved it. And so if I feel like I need to do exercise again, really, in life, because I'm letting myself go a little bit now.
Okay.
I'm strong, but you have to exercise. I walk a lot, so that's good. So I keep my legs strong. That's for sure. Because I don't drive a car like a lot of people do. I kind of refuse to keep myself strong. Some people sort of think, I'll get a car, I'll get this.
Yeah.
Because it make my life easier. But really, if you're making your life easier, you're not in the kind of way for when you get older, because your legs will stop working. If you're not using them, they're going to stop working. That's why a lot of people end up in wheelchairs. They're kind of sitting down watching TV, and their legs are not working. And they're not building them up, keeping them strong, which they should do. And that's why I think, hopefully, I'm going to last a long time. Do you know what I mean? If I keep my legs strong.
Yeah.
They're really strong. They're like ostrich egg legs. My legs, to be honest with you. My legs are probably stronger than my arms now, you know, because my arms don't do much exercise anymore. I don't do much painting or anything. You know? I mean, I do work with my hands, obviously, you know, but not like I used to. Don't do any weight training or anything, or removals anymore, if you see what I mean. I feel like, you know, once you build yourself up to a certain amount, you can let yourself go for weeks. You know, it's just like with your housework. If you catch up with that, you can let go for quite a few weeks, you know. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, when you're ahead. Yeah. Sit back and relax a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about drugs. What's your favourite drug? What's your favourite drug?
Well, I'd have to say, obviously, you know, having a smoke, you know. That's it. Well, it depends on what, like I said again, what you classify as a drug. Like, I drink a bit of tea.
See, I personally wouldn't call it a drug.
No, same. Like, that's what I mean. So some people classify it as a drug. I wouldn't. Like, I don't do any drugs in my opinion. Like, I don't really see caffeine as a drug because, like, I might only have like maybe 2 or 3, you know, 2 or 3 cups of tea a day.
Have you ever heard of anyone dying of a cannabis overdose?
No, it never happened, mate. You can't overdose on. It's impossible to overdose on. Yeah, it's impossible. You'd have to do like a ridiculous. It's almost impossible.
What about coma?
No, I think you've got people that have whiteyed.
Oh yeah.
On cannabis before.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen once or twice where people just like whitey, have too much, like they're not used to smoking, and all of a sudden they smoke. Smoke a big joint with someone. You know, some really strong. You know what I mean? Not just your average. You know what I mean? Green, but some good old strong gas, and they just can't handle it, and it's it's Well, like we said earlier, everything affects everyone differently, doesn't it?
That's right.
Some people's tolerances for some things are higher than others. You know, some people can drink like a fish and still get up the next morning and go to work every single day, no problem.
Somebody like that.
Clear head, and they're not affected. You know what I mean? They can drink every single night, get up and go to work bright and early the next morning, completely sober, ready to go. You know, do their job. You know, but other people, that might become a problem. You know, they might start to become a serious alcoholic. Might not be able to get up for work the next morning. You know, might be really hammered. You know, can barely walk, can barely see, thrown up. You know, so it's a tolerance thing in it as well. It's an individual. You know.
I think we all got our own different tolerance to different chemicals. It's like me, for instance. I said before that I'm allergic to metal. You know, but some people are not. You know, or whatever. I think we're kind of like allergic to different things a little bit. Okay. You know, like some people are allergic to peanuts, aren't they? They can actually choke and die on them.
Yeah.
Eating nuts. I don't know what's in them or whatever.
Yeah. Some people have like an anaphylactic reaction, innit?
Exactly, you know.
Yeah.
Very dangerous, you know. I think my auntie nearly died.